Yo.
Nothing but air and opportunity. Foundationally, you were like a beacon.
And inspire to
So I think that's a key word, to inspire.
go towards change.
Can we talk about that?
Development and growth.
You've already laid the foundation and groundwork. You feel it?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Now hold on. Hold that thought. Take a deep breath. Feel me here, okay?
I got nothing but air and opportunity. Welcome to another episode of Air and Opportunity. Your host, Chris DePalma, here with Dario Cavazos.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here, man. Can't wait. It's another episode with a dear friend of mine, Duane Clemons, who, we'll talk a little bit more about all the things that you've done in the past, but I want to go back to the first time we actually met, which was in Rotary.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I love it. So we're at a coffee shop, which we've been to a couple times, Gravel and Grind, local place in Frederick. Thank you for hosting us. Good coffee, but thank you, Duane, for being here. And Chris, thank you for setting this all up and getting us started. So, Duane, I'm going to start off real quick. I've known you for a while now in Rotary. We met years and years and years
Frederick,
ago.
Rotary?
Frederick,
Okay.
yeah. Well,
All right.
Southern,
Urbana, Southern.
right?
Okay.
Southern Frederick County. It has a lot of iterations.
Timesville, we get like 3 names.
They can't just stick with it, right? So when we met, I was amazed at what you were able to accomplish. But what I learned was, your past and how you got to where you are today. But thank you for Rotary. I want to give a big shout out to them for all the good that they do. When we first met, you were here for health and wellness. And is that where you started off, kind of coming to the Urbana area? How did you end up in Urbana?
Well, actually, I was totally unrelated. I was living in Kansas. My kids were my daughter had already left for college, and my son was finishing up his last year. And the company I was working for was in logistics, warehousing. Had nothing to do with sports or anything or wellness. And I was in a management position. I was operation manager, and I was transitioning because they were closing our Kansas operation. And I had been flying to Atlanta doing work, and then they had this opportunity in Maryland, and my wife is from Baltimore. So I was like, hey, babe, there's an opportunity in Hagerstown, Maryland. It's not more than an hour and a half away from Baltimore. So we took the opportunity. I came out here, hated it. Sorry, just hated living in Hagerstown.
Yeah, because you're a West Coast guy, right?
Yeah, it wasn't so much the weather, but it was
no.
just, Hagerstown was just not the feel. Like, you just get some places and you just realize, oh, this is not for me. And it was
You
just
said
like,
Hagerstown?
Yeah, it was
That's-
like
I live out that way, yeah.
it was a good job, great money, but it was
Right.
just like I can't see myself doing this day in and day out.
Were you living in Hagerstown too, by the way?
I was transitioning. So I was literally, I had a 1-bedroom apartment in Hagerstown, and then I finally rented a house in Frederick because I drove down the road a little bit, and I was like, okay, I liked Frederick. I was just like, I hated Hagerstown. So I was like, all right. So then I found a fitness manager job, and it was a big step down, but I was like, I want to get back into fitness and health. And I took that job with Gold's Gym and started meeting people and gotten kind of ingratiated into the Frederick circle. And then that led to me getting back into wellness because I already had, from my playing days in the NFL, I know we haven't talked about that.
We haven't talked about that.
I had about $500,000 worth of wellness equipment from my days of playing.
How does that happen, though? Like, what is that?
Well,
you had this equipment.
So when I was playing in the NFL, I was playing during the time where we didn't have a concussion protocol. Our basic, everything was drugs and anti-inflammatories. You just took copious amounts of Vicodin and Percocets and Indocin and all these cocktails of drugs, and you just played through injuries. And
Wow.
I broke my pelvis, tore my hip labrum, and the team orthopedic convinced me to take 3 weeks off. This was the second game of the season. He convinced me to take 3-4 weeks off and then play the rest of the season with my torn hip labrum. And I was like,
wow.
It was a contract year, so I didn't want to say no and sit out. So I played through it, and so I played an entire season coming off a broken pelvis with the torn hip labrum, and I had a really good season. I ain't gonna lie, I put it on great film, and I got rewarded. I got a really big, handsome contract, but by the end of the season, I had ruptured my patellar tendon in my right knee also because I was playing through one injury and just...
So you were compensating.
Yeah, and so it led to this, and then I just stopped having trust in the kind of the medical side of things, and I started looking for non-invasive, drug-free ways to take care of my body because I realized, okay, I finally got the bag.
Yep.
I'm making real money. I need to find practitioners that can take care of me without drugs and surgeries. I was also seeing the side effects in my personal life, After an entire season of taking, I might have been taking 15, 20 Percocets a day. I mean, I
Yeah.
was popping Indocin, and I couldn't poop. I couldn't,
Yep.
I was
Yep.
incoherent. I would pass out sometimes and just be
Really?
nodding off.
Yep.
Just the deep psychological and spiritual funk that it put me in, because I hated drugs. I absolutely hated drugs. I was not a drug person.
Yeah.
But the pain was so excruciating.
Oh.
I mean, if you can imagine having a torn hip socket and
Yep.
you're going against the biggest, strongest man. I mean, every day I was pushing around Willie Rofe.
Yep.
I mean, I got Hall of Famers, and I'm lining up in front of Tony Gonzalez and all these great
Gonzalez,
players.
yeah.
Willie, but every day it was a war in Kansas City. Dick Vermeil was no joke. He wanted to hit every single day, and it was just the war and the toll it took on my body. It really, for as much money it was making, you couldn't balance out the war that you were having with your physical self and saying, like, I'm literally destroying my body every day for money. And it, in a way, I kind of felt like a prostitute in a way, because you know that every day I'm doing something, and I try to come home and put on the happy face for your kids and your family, and you try to go out in the community and be like, I'm here for you, but you're literally high off drugs. You're sitting there and you're just trying to suck it up and just keep this machine rolling, because your job demands it, the media demands it, your family demands it. Everybody wants more of you, the best of you, and you're just like, I'm hanging on by a thread.
Wow.
And as soon as I close that door behind me, I'm literally passed out, curled up in a ball, trying to just get myself together so I could do another day until off season, and then I get my next surgery and then go through rehab and then hopefully get back to my job.
Yeah, so the whole rest period, there really is no rest. Maybe a half a day? I mean, like, how did that work?
Well, you only get one day off during the season. You
Yeah.
get off Tuesdays, but when you're injured, you get no days off.
No days off.
And really, that one day off is not a day off. It's, you're in the community. You're doing. If you have a foundation, you're doing that. And if you have a family, you're trying to wear your other hat. Your father, dad, brother, sister. So it's like there is no day. Or you're taking care of your body. You're running around. I'm seeing my acupuncturist. I'm seeing my massage prayer. I'm seeing my fascia worker. I'm, going to a PT. There's so many things that are demanding of your time. There is no day.
So that led to $500,000 worth of equipment that you had.
So-
Now,
so-
did you invest in that yourself?
So this is how it starts. So Trent Green, I
Uh-huh.
love
Yeah.
Trent Green,
Yeah, yeah.
quarterback. You might have seen him on TV a few times. I know he's doing. I can't remember who's with, either Fox or ABC, NBC. Sorry if I'm messing it up.
It's all good.
But Trent calls me one day, and we had both had knee injuries, and I was coming back from that patellar tendon surgery. So I have hip surgery one season to repair that. Then the next season, I play the entire season with the torn patellar tendon because there was no time to do both. So the next season, I get another injury. So Trent calls me one day and says, man, there's this guy from France. He's here with this technology called endermal therapy. And it was a non-invasive technology.
Dermotherapy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Endermotherapy, right?
Endermal therapy.
Yeah.
And it was the only technology that I knew of that it could create 400% more blood flow into a ligament or tendon. And ligament tendons, ACLs, MCLs, PCLs, this was the best technology that I had ever experienced to repair my ligament. And I had just torn my patellar PCL. And so after about 20 minutes of him doing the demo on me, I got up and I had probably 50% more range of motion. I had 50% less pain. And I mean, I was limping and gimping and on crutches. When I stood up, I was like, I actually walked across the room without my crutches. And it was almost like, these need to be gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
I have been healed.
And so I was like, hold on, do that again. And so I'm feeling really good. And then I go out there and I'm like jogging and I'm lit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yes, this is a game changer.
Okay.
Then the trainer looks at me and was like, oh, it's just a glorified vacuum. We ain't getting it. And when if you could have seen my face.
You wanted to. Did
Did you not
punch
just see what I just did? I limped in here on crutches.
Yeah.
And I went out there and I jogged for the first time. And I'm not in pain.
Pain free, yeah.
This man is not leaving here with this machine. And so
you bought it.
So I literally, that's what it did. So he said, we're not getting that. And I was like, you know what, shut up.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much is it?
Yeah.
So I wrote him a check right on the spot. It was like $40,000 for the machine.
Yeah.
Wrote him a check. He took me to my house. He showed me how to use it.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. A couple of days later, everybody sees me, and they're like, "What? What the? You were literally on crutches, limping around. I seen you. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm happy. They see my face. I'm in the weight room. I'm getting back to me, and I'm like, Yeah, I got this machine. Next thing I know, I got a line of dudes at my house. They come to my house.
Did you charge them,
I
by
was
the
going
way?
to say,
Nah.
or you need commission from the company.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was doing pretty
Right.
good at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
need the money. But it was the principle of the fact that the team did not
Wow.
recognize the value and were willing to split hairs about $40,000. I'm like, dude, you pay me $7 million a year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're going to split hairs about $40K. It's like you bought a Bugatti, but
Yeah.
you want to take it to Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Think about
And
Make
not
it
to
make
mention,
sense.
it doesn't just benefit you; it's everyone.
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone.
everybody
Yeah.
on the team. I mean, if I was a trainer, I'm like, dude, are you
Whatever
stupid?
you need.
get to be the guy that discovered this, that gets
Yeah.
to come to the whole team. Like, we got this new thing. I just made Duane Clemons back. I just brought Duane Clemons back.
Do you feel like that has changed though? Like they're more apt to.
I do
for
feel
the
like
player?
it's changed,
Yeah.
but I feel like then and even up till in the near recent future,
Yeah.
there was this overwhelming need to make everything about medicine and surgery.
Okay.
And I feel like
okay.
sometimes that is the issue when you have everything that has to be ran from the medical perspective.
Yep.
That's counterintuitive to their business model. Like,
Yes.
listen, they get paid off of
Gotcha.
drugs and surgery. So, yeah, you're not going to go to a guy that does drugs and surgeries and ask him for non-invasive drug-free
Team doctor.
solutions.
Yep.
Yep.
That
Yep.
doesn't make sense. So I was like, we need to have advocates that are like the chiropractors, the acupuncturists. We need to have other people who are in charge who can make a medical decision and say, hey, Duane, you don't have to take Percocet and Vicodin. Let me give you acupuncture day. Let me give you NeuroMed.
Let's start here first.
Let me give you endurable therapy. Let me give you the non-invasive drug-free things, and then we'll switch to that if
Yep.
that's necessary. But they
Cool.
didn't even want to give us the option. They didn't want to invest it. They didn't even want to look at it. That pissed me off because
Yeah.
I was like, this is my life. This is my family. I want to be able to walk when I'm 50.
Yeah.
I don't want to be walking around here depressed because I'm limping or getting knee replacements.
It has a huge impact on you
It shortened my
psychologically.
career.
Yeah.
And it's like, I already am putting my body on the line for you in every possible way. You're telling me you can't put a few 40 grand on the line
Little investment.
Yeah.
for an entire roster of people?
For $40,000.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And then that just led to one thing. Then I
Okay.
made relationships. That company introduced me to Dr. Mattia and Dr. Kaplan. So I still work with Disc Centers of America. As a matter of
Oh,
fact,
yeah.
we have a book coming out, me and Dr. Kaplan. That's going to be coming out. And he's wrote 3 or
Good for
4
you.
bestsellers already.
Okay.
And I'm also going to be inducted into Life University as a chiropractic school in Georgia. They're going to be
Congratulations, man.
starting the first neuropathy clinic, and they're going to be building it, and I know my name is going to be on the building, so I'm going to
Yeah.
be flying down at the end of February to be part of that, and me and Dr. Kaplan. So I've been working with discs and Disc Centers of America for about 20 years now, and I've been their national spokesperson, and they
Yeah.
specialize in fixing discs non-invasively, herniated disc, bulging disc, sciatica,
Good.
just a number of back issues, and
Yeah.
that people were getting surgeries on. And this is, like I said, once again, a non-invasive drug-free way to fix major back issues.
Yeah.
That, who wants to get their back cut into? I don't know anybody who
Just had
wants back surgery.
somebody who went in the other day, you know?
In an emergency, if you have no other choice, that's great. But
Yeah.
I think everybody should be able to exhaust non-invasive drug-free options. And right now, in America, you just don't see insurance companies in the HMO, PPO model giving people
That's
No.
right.
that option
Yeah.
to say, like, let me explore all of the non-invasive stuff before you cut me open. And they'll approve. And
That's
it's like,
really good.
it's
to
harder
know.
to get an MRI or to get something approved than it is to get a Vicodin or Percocet.
Yeah.
It's like, you'll put me on Percocet.
I even
for 6
worry
months.
now, like when I have something going on and I know I need to go to the doctor, I don't even trust, I trust 0% that I'm going to go and they're going to say, this is what is the best thing for you. I feel like it's always biased towards,
What their business model
that's
is.
exactly
That's
right.
exactly right.
And
Yeah.
if I don't own the MRI center, you ain't
Right,
going to the MRI.
right.
But if I own the MRI
Yeah.
center, maybe you get the MRI. If I own the hospital, you get different
Right.
services based on
It-
what they make money off.
It's like, I'm going to mess it up, but it's like the food companies creating the food pyramid, the ones who own all the pasta and all the all these companies that own all this processed stuff are the ones creating the food pyramid.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's awesome what you're doing, man, because it's an advocate. You're an advocate for those.
Huge. And then
Processes.
how do you, so back to the wellness business, you have all this equipment. How is it that you're using it to help people? Do they come to you?
Yeah. And then so this kind of leads into how I met Dario. So
Yeah.
I went from personal training space. I met Melissa Bolden. She
Yeah.
owner of Alazzo Wellness Spa, and was a client, and she was a client of mine, and just eventually we got to the point where the space next door to hers opened. I was doing personal training over there at another business, and got
That
to
was in
know.
Urbana, Maryland, right?
In Urbana.
In Urbana, yes.
And got to know the
That's the only glory it gets is you were there for a short period of time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. No.
Got to know my landlord, Charlie Seymour, and his family really good. And he got me involved with Rotary and just doing different things in the community over there. And it eventually led to me opening up Urbana Spine and Wellness. And we had a terrific run, a few years over there. Unfortunately, my son had a really bad injury and ended up in ICU for 4 months. And, I was the main practitioner, and it's hard to run a business when you're
the only
7,000 miles away and you're
Yeah.
not able to see your clients. So you end up losing a lot of revenue and trying to keep it afloat. So I ended up having to get out of that space temporarily and go back into personal training with Crunch Fitness. And so that equipment that I had there, spinal decompression tables, laser therapy, endermal therapy, neuromed therapy, PMF, EWAT, exercise. I mean, you name it. I had every single thing you would need, whether you were a professional athlete like LeBron James or Patrick Mahomes, or whether you were just a person who would maybe you had a stroke and you had been obese and you were just like, listen, I'm fighting for my life and I want to come back. I could treat you like a professional athlete would and just say, let's deconstruct your life and let's figure out everything you need.
Yeah.
We're going to have you exercise with oxygen.
Yep.
That's going to boost your metabolism. It's going to give you more energy. It's going to help detoxify you. We're going to put you on PMF, which is a magnetic wave therapy, which is going to help your body relax. It's going to help bring blood flow into your joints, increase your circulation system, help your nervous system calm down.
I need all this.
Yeah, reduce your cortisol levels. And then
we need to go on a retreat to hang out and decompress even more.
Man.
Yeah, and then just using all these different technologies synergistically, we could address all your issues, whether you have back issues, knee issues, hip issues, fascia issues, muscle issues, and then we could focus on getting you strong as a personal trainer. I could help you with that, and then understanding supplementation, what you need as a man in his 20s versus a man in his 50s.
That's a very good point.
How do we make that change? Because I know in your 20s you're all about that bigger, faster, stronger, but in your 50s you're about that longevity and mobility, and balance, the coordination.
Yeah, I want that core strong. I want to be like Peter Attia.
So being able to create these comprehensive wellness programs, given my background from being an athlete to also being an injured athlete and having to go through so many different levels of care, whether it was the medical, surgical side and the emergency care, post-operatively to the rehab, and then trying to maintain over all those seasons, discovering, hey, this is what acupuncture is going to fix. This is what chiropractic is going to fix. And just understanding how to create a regimen behind all those things to maintain your optimal health.
Yeah.
And now, since I've been through it, I'm ready to teach it and give people all over the world the opportunity to listen, start looking at your body and take it seriously like an athlete. I destroyed my body for money for a long time, but on the other side of that, I learned how to create health and wellness for my body to be able to continue to destroy it for a long time.
Well, one thing, we had a really intimate conversation a long time ago when we first had met, and you had shared your story with me. How did you get started in football and, to where you were?
Let's do this. Let's go way back. Let's go way back. Let's start.
Way back. That's what I mean.
Yeah, bring us back. Tell us a little about, upbringing and just where you started.
Okay. I definitely grew up in Southern California. I grew up in Riverside, California. It's probably about 45 minutes from LA, kind of in between San Diego, and we call it the Inland Empire, or the IE, if you're from Cali. And, my father, he grew up in tough times, It's hard to say it out loud, but, my grandparents were kind of horrible people. They were child molesters, and they ran group homes, and I grew up with those kids, and I know some of them ran away, and I think there was a lot of unreported stuff. So I know my aunties were victims of rape, and my dad ended up becoming a gangster, and he ran away from home early in life, and he got killed in a drive-by when he was 19 years old. I was 3 months old. My mom had just had me when that had happened. So I grew up kind of in the life around gangs, around drugs, alcoholics in my family, drug addicts in my family, people who had just suffered horrific trauma. And so I seen that from early age, and I watched my mom go through, going on conjugal visits. My stepfather was incarcerated, repeat felon.
Yeah.
My second stepfather was an alcoholic, and I always wanted more, and I found my outlet was just in being out the house. I loved to run, I loved to play, and so I would just try to stay gone as much as I could. You'd have to force me to go home. So once I discovered sports, I would be the first kid at the playground and I'd be the last one to leave.
That was your say so.
It just kind of created this space for me where it's like, this is my place where I'm going to, it kind of became my church.
Yeah.
So, I never wanted to leave the playground. I don't care what they were playing, football, basketball, baseball, every day I was out there. And so by the time I got to high school, I discovered football.
Yeah.
And I quickly accelerated, not because I had no guidance, didn't know anything about it, didn't know the rules, didn't grow up, didn't know about teams or watching sports on TV. But I just had this incredible work ethic, and so I just picked it up, and I was willing to be the first one there. And coaches know, like, just kids here at 5 a.m. Why are you here for?
And this started in high school?
This started in high school, high school, and I was even like that in middle school and junior. I was always
But
the
you
first
learned
kid.
Football when?
In high school.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
That was the first time I played organized football.
Wow.
I mean, I played in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We played on asphalt and got tackled in the Buicks, and we just yelled car.
Yeah. It was
So
like
it
playing
was-
baseball too in the streets.
Yeah, and so by the time I got to high school, I caught on quickly and quickly accelerated, and it just had a natural frame. I was taller and had some gifts, and turned that into a scholarship, and got offered by multiple schools, but ended up choosing to go to University of California, Berkeley, and
Nice.
got there and realized I was a little different. I was the only freshman that played, only freshman that started, so I quickly came out and had a lot of success. And we had a lot of really good talent on our team. We had probably 5 first-rounders while I was there. Like Tony Gonzalez was there, Reagan Upshaw was there, Tara Glenn, Jeremy Newberry. And, even on that team, I was the most valuable player and ended up being a first-round draft pick in the NFL, 16th overall, and went to the Minnesota Vikings and played there for 4
It's
years.
gotta be cold there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
thinking about that right now in wintertime. But
You can't get any colder than Minneapolis.
I think the other day they said it was almost going to feel like negative 60.
Yes.
Wow.
Right? Isn't that crazy? I was like, nah, I'm
You
good.
can die from going outside.
Yeah.
You just, I mean, every day I was there, I used to just be like, why does anybody want to be here?
Yeah.
Like, if you had money and you could live anywhere, why would you be here?
That's like, man, I went to Arizona in July, and I was thinking to myself, who wants to be in Arizona in July? It's like an oven. So coming up, going through those times, any mentors?
Yeah, I was going to say like coach or something.
Yeah,
somebody who stuck out to you.
someone that looked out for you.
I never had an individual, I would say, but I was always good at just kind of seeing characteristics in people that I admired. I wouldn't always necessarily spend a lot of time with them, but I would mimic them. I had a really good radar for people who had qualities that I thought were beneficial. And since I didn't have a father figure, I would just watch, like, all my friends who had fathers, I would just, not necessarily always went with them, but when they were around, I would just watch their mannerisms. I would see how they were, and the things that my other friends weren't listening to, I would always be there listening, because I had an appreciation, whereas I think a lot of kids just let things kind of just, whatever, but I didn't have nobody telling me anything, so it's like, they never really kind of picked up on the fact that I was raising myself through their experience.
That is nuts.
My best friend from high school, I always went everywhere. I spent every Christmas, every holiday, went over his house, everything. So, I spent time with his grandparents, his uncles, and Nate the Scarano. Shout out to the Scarano family.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Spent so much of my life with the Scarano family, and that's where I learned family, with the Scaranos, watching them make tiramisu, watching them have these conversations.
That's right up Chris's alley.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds Italian.
Yeah, they're Italian.
Yeah.
And so, it really gave me an opportunity to see it firsthand and to be a part of it. And, I still go back to the Scarano.
You do?
That's my best friend. I'm
Where's
the
he out of
godfather.
now? What?
He's actually a captain for the San Bernardino.
Oh, got him.
What do you call it when you're out of jail, but you're still
Like work release?
not work release, but
Parole?
Parole, yes.
Yeah.
He's captain of the parole department. So,
Okay.
So yeah,
Sweet.
I've got a chance to do great ride-alongs with those people and,
Yeah.
and meet some great people with them. But
Great people.
being around his family gave me so much insight into like what I wanted for my family, and then just seeing other people. Like, so I had coaches in football, and then I didn't necessarily. I always still felt like I wasn't necessarily super duper like attached to anybody. Like, I didn't always like that, but I was just always picking up and listening, and I just felt like, I was just always that quiet kid that, I didn't
observant.
talk, but I understood.
Yeah.
And so I just kept being that sponge and kind of took from those people around me, and that was kind of like my secret weapon. That like I didn't have resources, I didn't have this, but I would watch and I would make it. Like I remember I made my own cleats.
Did you really? How in the world did you do that?
I wore a size 15. And in the 80s, you couldn't go buy a size 15.
Yeah.
I had no money to.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think I found a 13 at a Goodwill, and I ended up cutting the bottom off and using duct tape and kind of created my own size 15. Oh, it was hilarious.
Do you still have them or something like that?
But people used to just make fun of me and they'd be laughing, and then the game would start. They'd be like, "Oh yeah,
Stop it!
You making fun of my shoes?
Yeah. I'm gonna get at you.
Now them shoes in the end zone.
Yeah.
Like that's the dude with the duct tape shoes. Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah.
Growing up and looking back, where do you think the work ethic came from?
That was definitely mom's.
Yeah.
My mom always had 2, sometimes 3 jobs, and she was always the provider. Like, even though I had a couple of different stepdads, she was always the provider.
Yep.
And, she wasn't able to give me much, but she never, ever was sitting at home, not trying to do her best. And so I think I just always watched her get up, go to work, do 2, 3 jobs. So I just always felt like there's no excuse for me not to work. And I remember I'd be like 10 years old and I'd be walking around the neighborhood asking neighbors if I could take their trash out. I started being a peanut vendor at like 12 years old. I was tall, so people thought I was like 14. But
That's where the business acumen comes in.
I was a peanut peddler at the local baseball park for the Riverside Red Wave. And then I got a job at a video store. And
you did?
They used to call me Hey Man. Like, you remember that in Living Color?
Yeah.
I got 13
I do.
jobs. So in high school, I worked at the video store, the sandwich shop, the pizza shop, and I helped out at the liquor store.
Yeah.
And I played, 3 different sports. So it was like, I never had a social
You weren't
life.
sitting
I was
still.
always doing something productive.
Yeah.
And then I'd be the last guy to show up at the party. So I'd get off at work,
That's probably the best time.
2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Because by the time I worked, I'd close out the liquor store at like 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd show up at the party with a couple 6-packs. And it'd just be like, I was always the last one there. Didn't really drink. So I'd just give them out. And then people just kind of remember me as like, he was like a phantom. It was like he came and then he was gone. And it was just like, I was like that in high school and in college. People
Even
just
in college? It carried over into college too?
I was always productive. So I might show up at the party, but it'd be like the last 20, 30 minutes and then I'd be out. And so it's not, I was never super social, but I was always sociable. I just kind of always kept it moving, and I never let that was never my first priority. I was always like, okay, after I get everything done, I might spend 10 or 15, 20 minutes on that, and then it's like, all right, I'm back to the crib. I'd rather get some sleep.
And so then going back to that, so now you're with Minnesota Vikings, drafted first round, 16th overall.
16th overall pick.
Yeah. And then you're there, and it's cold as all get out. What were you thinking at that point in time? Thank God I made it, or
well, people
what?
assume that once you get that like you made it, but it's like no, that just guarantees that they have a higher expectations for you. So yes, you are probably going to make the team. Yes, you're going to guarantee a lot more money, but then the scrutiny,
the work really
like,
begins.
I mean, have you ever had the scrutiny of when somebody's paying you $1 million, they expect big.
I was just saying a lot more's on the line.
Just imagine
now.
what you'd expect. If you pay somebody $1 million, what would you expect from them?
Yeah. Excellence.
All day, every day, every way.
Nonstop.
And so to try to elevate yourself and try to operate. And then you got guys like John Randall. I'm playing with Hall of Famers. I'm playing with Chris Dolman. I'm playing with Chris Carter, Randy Moss. I'm playing with Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham. So the competition.
Randall Cunningham, I love that guy.
The competition on this team to try to establish yourself as a key focal point of that team was just so hard, and the pressure and the stress and
in pain at times.
Luckily, I hadn't had any major injuries, but I was dealing with. I came into the league and I probably made the biggest mistake of my life, and I shouldn't throw it all on my ex-wife, but my ex-wife hated my agent Lee Steinberg, and so I ended up firing him for no good reason. And, that kind of set off a cascade of effect because that kind of created a rift between me and the head coach. And, he was a Cal alumni. So I ended up getting cut off at the knees in a lot of circles, not understanding the bigger repercussions of my decision. And this is where not having a father, not having mentors and those things really comes back to bite me. I wish I would have had somebody be like, listen, your wife and your family, you need to separate church and state. I don't care what's going on. I needed somebody to show me that, because I was kind of letting her be involved in a lot of my decisions And she had no business being involved, and she had
And a lot of it is emotional, right?
Yeah.
And not liking somebody.
And I had to realize she was operating from a mindset of, I'm about to lose him. He's getting too big, too fast. This world is blowing up. He's all of a sudden I'm like, he wanted to put me in a movie. I was supposed to be in Jerry Maguire.
Wow.
And I was
Stop
supposed
it.
to, I was hanging out with
Show me
Cuba.
the money.
I hung out at Super Bowl with Cuba Gooding the whole time while we were doing research. And then at the last minute, I pulled out of it because, she was feeling threatened by like, because, she saw us hanging out and saw what was happening. It was just like he was wilding, and it was just like, and then I was getting phone calls at 2 in the morning, like, hey, Clem, come on, party. And I had all these opportunities, and she wanted to be, her fear basically kept me from being big as I could have been.
Yeah.
And I should have been making these networks and socializing and really creating this opportunity for myself. And I pulled back just because I knew she was just falling apart, because she realized, like, she wasn't built for this world. And I should have just realized, like, listen, baby, this may not be where eventually we got divorced, but I wish as a younger man I would have had the intellect and the experience to be able to see all these situations
Thank you
for
for
what they
sharing
were.
that. That is a gem, for others.
Yeah, and I would tell any young man, if you're in a situation where you have the ability to make a lot of money in a short period of time, don't be afraid to put yourself first. Don't be afraid to be completely selfish and be able to say, like, listen, this is my window, this is my shot, this is my dream.
Yep.
And, the relationships are great, but relationships can come and go. I only got one shot to be in this area, and if anything is taking away from that, as a matter of fact, if you're not pouring into my situation, you're not building me up.
I was just about to say, if you're not surrounded by someone who's behind you,
you need to identify your biggest cheerleaders.
That's right.
And hold them close and start eliminating all the things that are dragging you now. Because the difference between being a Hall of Famer and, a guy like me who got a good career 10 years is just those little things, not having relationship issues, not letting business issues get messed up because relationships, and being able to take advantage of every opportunity, whether they're social, whether they're spiritual, whether they're physical, whether it's, working with the best team doctors. All those little things add up to this tapestry that you weave that creates your life when you look back and you're like, okay, this is where it all went right. But then, like me, I get to also look back and I have a profound education of all the things I did wrong. And so that's a powerful...
That's some wisdom right there, man. Yeah.
And so I want to translate that into a question.
Yeah.
Okay. What's one obstacle that felt impossible at the time, but looking back, you realize that it prepared you?
Wow.
It prepared you for everything that's come after it.
Okay. Ooh. Man, there's so many. All right, if I'm going to pick one obstacle. There was a situation where I chose to go into my head coach's office. So me and Denny Green were not getting along because of the two. And this was my last year with the Vikings. And it was my 4th year I was a free agent. Now, mind you, I'm leading the team in sacks. I'm leading the team in tackles for loss.
Oof.
I'm leading the team in every team on the defensive line, in every statistical category. And I'm playing with John Randall and Chris Dolan. Now, they're starters. I'm their backup, and I'm outplaying them in every situation.
Okay.
And so I finally go to Coach.
You're producing.
And I'm like, Coach, what is the problem? Why am I not a starter? And he's like, Duane, basically, we go back and forth. He's like, Duane, you're never going to be a starter. I'm not going to let you start. And I got pissed off. So the next day, I quit.
Damn.
I literally called him and said, I'm not coming back to work. Cut me, trade me, do whatever you got to do. And I ain't got no agent. So figure it out. And I just hung up the phone, and I didn't come to work. So it was like,
Golly, you did that.
yeah,
Man.
it's probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I called him at like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's like 10:30, and then my phone is blowing up. Duane, you got to come back to work. Finally, my coach, my position coach, Andre Patterson, he said, Duane, you got to come back to her. So he's like, it's all worked out. You're going to start. And so I ended up starting the rest of the year.
Stop.
Yeah, because it was like, because he didn't want to, because it was like, he did not want to go to the media and be like, and have to answer this, because, it was going to be like, well, why isn't Duane starting? He has the most sacks, he has the most tackles for loss. It doesn't make sense. Like, what is he doing wrong? So he didn't want to open that can of worms. And then, so he made me the starter the rest of the year.
Do you know what was causing him to?
Well, because I had fired my agent, Lee Steinberg.
Okay.
So
I got
that
you.
had kind of led into this whole war where,
It's politics.
yeah, it becomes politics. So I'm
Politics.
sure
Yeah.
it was told like, yeah, he is persona non grata.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of power back then. He was in control
Influential.
of a lot of buckets. So
Yeah.
he basically put me on the blacklist pretty much.
Yep.
Gosh.
By the time the end of the season goes, I'm leaving. I'm led the team. I had 10.5 sacks. I'm going into free agency thinking I'm about to make a bag.
Yeah.
Not one team would sign me. Every team. The only reason why Kansas City signed me because Derek Thomas ended up losing his life. He got into that car accident. But when I tell you, not one team offered me a contract. Nobody. They didn't even offer me a visit. And I'm like, dude, I'm a free agent. I'm in my fourth year.
I'm about to make it.
I'm 24 years old with coming off a 10.5 sack season. Just came off the NFC Championship, and I can't even get a job in the NFL.
Holy smokes!
I shouldn't say luckily, but for me, that opportunity opened, and I just got lucky that the Kansas City Chiefs were desperate.
Yeah.
And with the void of Derek, and it was just like they couldn't ignore it. So I felt like they just said, "Listen, we need a pass rusher."
And here we go.
And we just lost the Hall of Famer. We got to have Duane. And then I went in there, I killed it, and then they paid me, and that kind of became water on the bridge.
Yeah.
But those years I learned the business. I really learned about business. Like it's not about what you see on TV. The relationships. Cultivating relationships is 99% of everything that's in the. We're all good players. Any of us could be a Hall of Famer or a star. If we cultivate the right relationship, the defense is going to go through me. If the coach wanted to call defenses that put me in a position to shine, they could do that. Just like I could put an offensive player in a position to shine. So some things,
relationships.
Some things are manufactured, and you have to cultivate relationships to have those things work out for you. So as a player, it's not just about how fast you are, how strong you are. Put yourself in a situation where you're not making people mad, you're not creating issues for other people, and then hopefully do even better than that to where they're looking at you like you're a problem solver. You're actually a person that I can depend on and count on, and they look at you as a need. That's how you get to the bag.
Man.
What a nugget, right?
I mean, even today in my life, I think about all the things that I gruff at. I go, I got to do that for you? What? Stop. And I get mad inside my head.
Yep.
And then I have to just pause and think and say, okay, like you're saying, the ramifications of my decision here could be
that one day I didn't show up might be the opportunity of a lifetime that I missed.
You got it.
And also making it easier. I mean, even when it translates to work and business these days, the people that make your life easier are the people that you want to help move along and promote. And that don't cause issues and cause headache. And
man,
and
that is a nugget.
And the one good thing about me, I never had somebody advocating for me. So I never came home with a problem and had my mom tell me, "Oh, he shouldn't have done that. It's his fault." Like I've never had somebody like, if I got whenever I had issues, it was always my fault. So every situation that I had a confrontation, I always turned the mirror, had to look at myself and say like, "No, Duane, no matter what happened in every situation, there was a part that you played in it." Whether
extreme ownership is what that is.
Yeah. How did I react? Because sometimes you got to let people be wrong, and in the moment, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to be right.
Yep.
But I'm gonna let you think about it, and I'm just gonna walk away from the situation, and I'm gonna do what I got to do for me right now. But I'm not gonna go back and forth with you, and I'm not gonna create a conflict for you. I'm gonna do what the business needs us to do right now. So if you need me to play left in, right in, back up,
I'm there.
Left out.
You want me to return a punt?
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here, and then at some point, the universe will present a situation where you're going to need me, and I'm going to step in, and I'm going to have a great attitude, and I'm going to perform, and you're going to realize.
I'm going to tell you something right now. From the bottom of my heart, you are here today with us, and that is a blessing. So I just want you to know that. So you will make an impact in this world, and you have already, and we're going to continue with that. So thank you for being here, man. Everything happened for a reason.
What makes someone coachable? For the youth these days, what makes someone coachable?
We live in such a me society. And I think, for me, I will say that it was kind of easy because I had nobody. I had nobody in my corner. I had no cheerleaders. So for me, I was looking for somebody to push me, looking for that. But I think for some people, sometimes you may have had parents or people always advocating you, and they're so protective over you that they don't go out there and let you take the criticism. They don't let you actually have to feel the weight of your limitations and have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I need to get better at this. Because, I grew up in an environment where, like, if I came to school and I didn't put on deodorant, you know, we didn't hold anybody. Man, you funky. You know, they weren't going to sugarcoat it.
Yep.
You know, whereas nowadays,
Yeah.
we don't say anything. And it's just like we live in a society where, well, man, some kids don't learn anything because we're so busy. Oh, Johnny's just trying to sugarcoat everything. Like, no, tell Johnny he funky. He needs to go put on some deodorant. Tell Johnny he need to go take a shower right now. Or, you know, if Johnny mess up, let him face consequences. And, you know, I feel like that's the biggest thing is like, face your consequences. Learn how to take it on the chin. Like, and I don't know if I can say this on air, but you know, sometimes taking an ass whooping is the best lesson you ever learned.
Yeah.
And I took many. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I said the wrong thing to the wrong person in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Ran my mouth one or
That's
two
it.
times and caught it on the chin. And you know, my mama didn't go out there and tell anybody anything. He said, "What'd you do?" Yeah, I was running my mouth. Yeah, that's why you got a black eye.
I was watching a podcast, and it was I remember too. It was Memphis Bleak, and he was saying people talk about being bullied now, and he was like, some of my friends, what you used to catch from your friends was worse than bullying. The shit that you would catch
to make you right.
They held nothing back.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that
That's
would
a
hurt
good
your
friend too.
anything that would hurt your feelings, they were the first ones to bring it to you. Like, man, look at your shoes.
Yeah.
But then
Man, we used to do it constantly.
you understood what you had to get together. And so now when you looked at yourself in the mirror, you had all those frames of references to pick yourself apart. And you were taking it as a point of love because it went from like, normally that would hurt my feelings. But now I've been so ingrained in it that it doesn't hurt me. I can take criticism and I can grow from it. And it's like, listen, I'm going to get I'm going to clean up my shoes. I'm going to make sure my laces is right. I'm going to take some time and effort and intention and to make sure I'm presentable because I don't want to get bagged on when I get to the corner. I'm gonna make sure I smell right, and then now you realize you have better relationships because you know people like you better when you smell good. You know, when you show up with groomed and well cleaned, and you know you show up, you don't got 10 tattoos on your face, and people got to realize you got to show up and be presentable. You have to try. You have to be intentional. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't know if people try to woo girls anymore. It seems like things have changed, but you used to come to school, you used to iron your pants.
Just talking about
you used to crease your clothes. You would actually get you'd have your outfit
plan it out, laid it out,
because you had pride in your presentation.
Oh, man, this is like.
But nowadays, I don't know if people are even taking that kind of.
I see all the sweatpants and the Uggs and the slippers,
it kind of upsets me, but
there's no personal pride in the presentation. They don't carry themselves in a way that's like, dude, you guys have no game. Like you just walk around.
I don't even know if they know how to rap to girls anymore.
They don't have to talk to anybody. They can't talk to each other. Everything's a text or it's tweet or it's chat or
it's crazy. So I want to kind of fast forward because I heard you say this earlier. You and your son were out in Colorado, and so you're a father of two, right?
Yeah, well, three.
Three now.
Two sons and one daughter.
So fill us in on that. How were you like the greatest dad ever? Because that's what I've heard.
Well, I would love to say that, but I'm gonna let them have to say that. But I will say this: I have such a beautiful relationship with my kids because even though like me and their parents like got divorced when they were pretty young, my son became my very best friend. We did everything we could to become as intentional as possible about making sure our time together was always good. So we went scuba diving, we went snowboarding, we hunted, we fished, we shot guns, we did all the things that hopefully a father would do to his son. And today, that's like whenever we're going places, I literally hang out with him like he's my best friend. So if anything, I would say I held nothing back from him. I always demanded the utmost respect, but I didn't sugarcoat anything in the world. I gave him, I wanted him to be able to deal with the world almost like I dealt with. So, I grew up in an environment where people didn't sugarcoat anything. They told you straight up point blank. And I took him to Oakland. I take him with me when he was 4 years old. He'd be in Oakland on the strip with me. I was a biker. I take him into the bike clubs with me. And so he knew how to carry himself in any environment. He didn't. I don't want you to walk in the hood and have no fear. I don't want you to be in the woods and have no fear. I want you to walk in any environment and be able to carry yourself with the utmost. Like, that's
beautiful.
Like, I'm comfortable anywhere.
You are, man.
And then my oldest son, like he's an executive for Nike now.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, he was running the Brooklyn store. Shouts out to you, Ryan. Congratulations.
Brooklyn, nice.
Yeah. So he's out there doing a program, an executive program with Nike, and then my daughter, she's doing awesome. She just got married last year.
Congratulations!
So, got to give her away.
I see that smile. Yeah.
I was gonna say, you want to really see the smile. This was.
Oh, how showing beautiful.
Them a picture.
Where was that at?
This is in Vegas. Me seeing my daughter for the first time in her wedding dress. So they They kind of captured
Did you cry?
my face.
You
I
had
was
some
just
tears.
about to
You
say,
did, didn't
yeah.
you? Yeah, come on now.
I was close.
You
I was
were
close. I held it together.
You held it
but-
together.
But I
Come
was
on, man.
tight.
You gotta let it out.
I
There
was
was
tight.
like, yeah.
But just
got
been
Kleenex
blessed to
going.
see all three of my kids are thriving.
Yeah,
My
good for you.
my youngest son's doing luxury real estate down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
He's also an influencer of fashion. and
Yeah, we're gonna have to follow it, man.
Chip off the old block.
Yeah.
Luxury listings in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
Wow.
I love it.
A couple me with the question. Sorry, I'm always. But if you could give today's youth one message about life, resilience, or manhood, what would it be?
Don't be afraid to walk alone. Like, your circles are gonna be tight sometimes. You're gonna have to be man enough to understand that, like, maybe you're in a situation where you have to spend some time working on just you and focusing on your weaknesses. And don't be afraid to always look at yourself and be able to pick yourself apart and say, listen, I have this weakness. So if my weakness is organization, I'm gonna do 10 things every day to improve my organization. That's where it starts. Becoming a professional athlete, it's not about being born faster, bigger, and stronger. It's about every day. Even when I was in the 9th grade, I constantly look at myself. Oh, I was a tight end, and if I dropped a ball at practice, I caught 30 balls after practice. I caught 30 balls before practice. If I missed a tackle, I stayed out there and I did 30 tackle reps. And it's just getting repetitions in life and saying, hey, whatever I'm not good at, I'm going to repetition. I'm going to get opportunities to get better at it until I don't have no weaknesses. And that's how you become that all-star. That's how you become that person elevated. It's not about being born with the biggest arms and the fastest 40 time. It's about every day you constantly taking a look at yourself and finding something that you can improve. Just doing, taking the intention and saying, I'm going to do it 10 times. If I couldn't do like I remember I've gotten into yoga, so
Good.
so
I love that,
so
man.
I really
That's
love
what's
doing
up.
like balances
Yeah.
and headstands and
Yeah.
stuff, and so every day.
You're not doing like hot yoga or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
I love hot
you
yoga.
love-
No, I'm for real. I'm all in.
I
So
love it.
I'm doing
Okay. It's
all of it.
crucial.
But I just remember the first time I walked in that room being crushed.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing more humbling that first time. It's almost like going that first training camp, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea how exhausted I'd be. But I
Right.
felt like I could not do anything. And then 6 months into it, being at the front of the class and I'm doing everything, and at the end of the class
By the way,
Yes.
did you have deodorant on at the time?
always fresh and clean.
Fresh
yes.
and clean, baby.
How's your body feel these days?
So the only thing I still struggle with, I still have a little bit of hip pain.
Okay.
But other than that, everything else has been good. I was able to get stem cells put in my right knee. I used to have a lot of pain in my knee. I've had six surgeries on it. The stem cells fixed that. I'm going to be getting stem cells put in the hip. But other than that, I'd say I'm like 95% good.
That's great.
So physically, I'm very happy, especially looking at some of my friends and seeing where they are.
Yeah. So we're coming up on time. I always ask this question: is like, what didn't we ask you? What would you share with the world, or the people that are following these days?
Look at yourself and just understand you are your biggest investment, and anything you want to do, whether it's be a father, be a husband, a brother, a friend, whatever role you want to play in life and business, it always starts with you being a better version of you. And so be intentional about your health. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not watching what you're putting into your body, if you're not watching what you're listening to, reading, being intentional, guard your mind, guard yourself, be intentional about this world we live in, because there's so much negativity, but then there's still so much positivity if you're looking for it. And you have to be intentional about looking for those wins. Like you can get online and start scrolling and be looking for, and you find all kind of hellacious stuff, or you can find out more nutritional facts. You can find out new ways of producing health, new therapies that are going to help you fix. So if you're going to go down a rabbit hole, go down the rabbit hole of choosing you and longevity and trying to become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
What about someone who feels like, man, I don't have anything. I don't have anyone. I don't have anything.
There is always somebody that wants to be in your shoes.
Yep.
That's
like
right.
when I got to that hospital. So, I was telling them the story
please,
about
tell them.
my son. I'm one minute we're on a ski trip and we're having a good time. Next thing my son's telling me he's in pain and I'm taking him to the hospital and he's getting medevaced into surgery. And by the time I drive 2 hours to the hospital where they medevaced him to, I get there and I'm thinking the worst. I'm like, is my son dying? But I get there and they're like, no, actually we decided not to do surgery. He shattered his kidney, but he is going to be in an intensive care unit for months. But there's 3 or 4 other parents there. All of them were on the same mountain the same day. One kid was a quadriplegic. He broke his neck and is never going to be able to use his arms or legs again. Another kid ripped his entire face off and was going to require just a tremendous amount of reconstructive surgery. And then another kid had impaled himself on a tree and passed away. And so even in my darkest moment, gratitude is everything. Like, to be able to get there and go from being woe is me, oh my God, my world is shattered, to hearing what was really going on and being able to quickly gain perspective and be like, you know what? I will take the shattered kidney. Thank you. I'm appreciative and grateful for the problems that I do got. Because guess what? It ain't the worst problem in the world. So if you feel like you got the worst problem in the world, trust me, there is somebody who wants to be in your shoes.
Oh yeah. Every day.
And I was so thankful once I got to be I was thankful not to be in those parents' shoes.
You darn right.
Trust me. There's levels to it.
You darn right.
Last thing for me, and I'm going to take it.
Oh, get out of here.
So someday,
Yeah.
when you're not around, wonderful family, beautiful kids, business, what do you want to be remembered by?
I want to be remembered for being a person who was. There's a term I'm trying to remember. I always use it when I talk about Patrick Mahomes. He's a force multiplier, meaning that whatever energy I did have, I was able to always bring energy into a room and then multiply it. So I was the person who could step into a room, and if the room was a 7, I multiplied it to a 14 or a 21,
Wow.
And so that's my goal, is to always be remembered as a guy who brought positive energy to every situation and multiplied it somehow.
Yeah. I want to say this as last, and we're going to wrap up because this is what we're working on. Whenever I've called you or asked for your help, you've always stepped up. Anytime I've asked you. And that you can't find much anymore. So you were reliable, and I'll never forget, I was coaching for Oakdale Bears, and I said, Duane, would you mind just coming out and talking to the boys? No problem, D. I'll be there. And how much that meant to us. I think, as a matter of fact, that year we went on to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm going to count you as part of that.
Appreciate that.
I love it, man. And what I realized is, in today's world, like you say, we can't find people that, not all the time, but reliability. And I'll always remember that about you, your wonderful, contagious smile. And keep that in the back of your mind as you keep trucking along. And then where can people find you? What can people do to help you with what you're trying to accomplish going forward?
Right now, I'm I'm a co-host of the Ed Block Courage Cast. You can look that up. We're on YouTube if you want to watch us live. We're also on Spotify. We are an NFL foundation. We advocate for abused and abandoned children. I'm currently working with the Baltimore Courage House, but we have Courage Houses in every NFL city across America. And every NFL team does get to nominate a player. We put on a banquet once a year. So please, we encourage you to give to the Ed Block Courage Awards and start to find out about it and come down and participate. Anybody can come. You can buy tickets and attend. Okay. There's usually 30 to 40 NFL players. I know last year Jason Kelsey was there. Some other Mike from Tampa Bay, the receiver Mike Evans. Yeah. Some of the biggest names in the NFL will be there every year, and it is a great time. It supports a great cause. And if you want NFL memorabilia, every team sends us probably 20 to 30 different memorabilia items, and it goes for cheap.
Wow.
Like you can get great NFL memorabilia for a steal. Like if you come to the NFL auction,
I'm coming.
You will find a steal.
When is it?
I don't know. It's coming up in March.
Okay.
I don't have the exact date, but it is online. If you go to Ed Block,
we'll put it in the notes.
Yeah,
edblockcourage.com, I believe it's on there on the website. And other than that, I'm still in the personal wellness space. So if you're in the Frederick area, you can reach out to me at rushmancoach92@gmail.com. rushmancoach92@gmail.com. I do personal training as well as I deal with fascia work and dermotherapy and spinal decompression.
I love it, man. Thank
Amazing.
you so much.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Good job. All right, man. Over and out. Foundationally, you were like a beacon.
And inspire to
So I think that's a key word, inspire.
go towards change.
Can we talk about that?
Development, growth.
You've already laid the foundation and groundwork. You feel it?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Now hold on. Hold that thought. Take a deep breath. Feel me here, okay?
I got nothing but air and opportunity.